Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for the final, or actually is it? I hope you guys are all hyped for the finals, but you have to wait a little bit longer. We're gonna save the finals for last and first gonna get the runner-ups, see who's gonna take third place. If you remember correctly, we got Vonnicolai and we got last game on his account Blister. This time he's gonna play on Blissey GSM. They're both Evert and Davy. I had to check it really quickly to say it correctly. So Davy playing on a different account, but he's using a different team also. Vonnicolai is sticking to the team we've seen last game as far as looks go. Looking at the team composition of both, we see Crowdown actually on Blissey's side. We're just gonna say Blissey here, makes it a little bit easier for me to remember who is who. It's gonna be interesting though to see what it's gonna do. Usually it's gonna sword dance and then do a lot of damage to the enemy team. On the side of Vonnicolai we see the two pink blobs. I'm not sure we've seen both of them last game, so it might actually be a different team. It's definitely a different team. We didn't see Haluja either. So we got two different teams. Wow, really nice start. We're gonna get these games going. We see Storm, which is also interesting, but we're gonna see these mons a little bit better in a bit. The leads though is gonna be Landrus versus Heatran on a balloon, which means that Heatran can get his rocks up without fearing the EQ. Landrus has to go for a physical attack that hits him, which isn't a ground type attack, to make sure the balloon pops, which he doesn't. He's taking a turn. First gets his rocks up and then goes for U-turn. He's getting a little bit of momentum. Heatran loses his balloon on turn 2, but has a free turn to go for some damage. The roar comes out, actually making sure Starmie can't rapid spin these away, and Crowdown takes 12% damage from the rocks. Heatran does have to switch out here, which means that Crowdown actually has one turn to set up or switch out for something else. Could go active setups right from the bat, which might be a little bit too early. Venusaur scares it out and Latios comes back in. Venusaur's got one turn, let's see what he makes of it. He goes for the Mega of course, and goes for the Giga Drain, does some damage to it. Actually Latios takes 21% damage and Venusaur gets some HP back, so it's not a bad turn. Has to switch out here and goes back into Blissey. Let's see what Team GSM does here. He goes for the Side Shock, does 54% damage, which is quite a lot. There are gonna be some HP back here with leftovers, but he's not able to take another hit, so he has to switch out. Goes into Clefable, one pink blob into the other, who doesn't take the Side Shock any better. He actually hits him with a crit and takes almost 70% damage. Also left over some Clefable, but Latios isn't scared and makes sure this Clefable goes down. The Life Orb is taking his sticks though, so this Latios is slowly but certainly going down. Does he have Recover at this point? That would be quite interesting. Let's see. Roost, which does the same thing. So Latios is back, almost back to full. Heatran goes for the Roar, and let's see what we get here. We get Landrus, so that's really lucky on the side of Blissey GSM. He gets the perfect switch in here. And Heatran has to switch out. Landrus comes in, goes for Intimidate. A U-turn would have been great at this point. EQ doesn't hit Landrus of course, because of his typing, and yeah, we're having a mirror matchup here. Landrus on Vonnicolai's side starts off with knocks off the Rocky Helmet, and U-turn on the side of Blissey GSM to keep up momentum. So he gets a free switch in here. Only takes some rock damage, which is fine. Doesn't opt to go for the Starmie at this point, which would have gotten his spin off, which could be interesting. Draco makes sure this Landrus hits the ground and takes it out. So Vonnicolai is down 2 mons already, while Blissey GSM still has his 6. Blissey comes out. If I remember correctly, Blissey won't be able to take Upside Shock. He actually does, so that's interesting. He lives at 2%. Does he go for the Wish? He does. Protect would be coming out most probably the next turn, which means that Latias actually has oh, I just realized Latias had this special attack drop, which means that Blissey can actually live it. We see the protect and Blissey gets back to 64%, which is quite a lot, and this Latios isn't able to take care of this Blissey like this. So he's going for a roost, making sure he leaves the field at full HP. Does get toxic at the same time, which means together with the life orb he's going to take a lot of damage turn for turn, and switches out into Starmie. He's going to take this opportunity to go for his rapid spin. Seismic toss does a nice amount of damage though, 31%. Leftovers give Starmie a little bit back, and rapid spin should be coming out here, making sure rocks are gone on the side of Blissey GSM. Toxic comes out, which is fine. I think Starmie might be rocking the ability to cure his statuses when switching out. Let's see if he does. We see a recover. So we see that Team GSM is actually quite bulky with the recovery here. Seismic toss still does about 30%. Blissey is slowly but certainly getting his HP back too, keep in mind. Toxic comes out, putting Blissey on a timer too. Blissey probably rocking the healing ability or heal bell, something like that, or an ability to passively get it back while switching out. Either of those would work. Starmie pretty low here. Natural cure activated, that's the ability I was thinking about, which Blissey might also have, not really sure about that. Landorus comes in, gets a useless intimidate off, which isn't important at all. Wish, we see Blissey go for a wish. Also natural cure activated, so I was correct on that thing. And we see Hawlucha come in. Vonnicolai actually got beaten by Hawlucha last game if I remember correctly, so he might opt to try Hawlucha for himself, which is interesting, which does show that with tournaments like these, if you study the games you play, you might actually pick up a thing or two. Not sure, could be that Vonnicolai actually knew this already and just had this team ready though. Might be reading too much into this. Klefki goes for the Prankster T-Wave, making sure he gets this Hawlucha slowed down. Hawlucha goes for the +2 attack with Sword Dance. Flash Cannon does some damage, but Hawlucha might be able to take out Klefki at this point. If not paralyzed, of course. It shows the power of paralyzation. Another Flash Cannon hits, Citrus activates, bringing it back to 48%, and another paralyzation. So Vonnicolai not really lucky here. He has to take another Flash Cannon, bringing it down to 7%, but in the end gets his high jump kick off with a crit. I'm pretty sure the crit didn't matter that much. So the first down on the side of Blissey GSM, but Hawlucha is really low and is going down to this U-turn. Will definitely not outspeed because of the paralyzation, and Landorus can U-turn, keep up momentum and pick his next switch in. Charizard comes in, considering the team that he's facing. Blissey comes in on the side of Vonnicolai, which is interesting. Charizard X this time. I was expecting Charizard Y, considering that he played with those the last two games we saw. He can go for a Dragon Dance. Toxic comes out, which shouldn't be too difficult for him to work around. Charizard usually comes in, does a lot of damage and goes out at the same time. Protect on Blissey's side, well predicted on the side of Blissey GSM, going for another Dragon Dance, staring down this +2 speed, +2 attack Charizard, which should be able to take care of Blissey. And it's going to be interesting what Vonnicolai is going to bring in against this. He has 2 mons left. I'm not really sure if any of those can take many hits from Charizard. Venusaur does have the thick fat, but keep in mind this is Charizard with the +2 attack, so Flare Blitz is going to take it clean out, and Vonnicolai is down to his last Pokemon, which does resist the stab of Charizard. He is calling the GG already. Let's see if Charizard does rock something to take care of this Heatran. Dragon Claw is not going to take him out. He's going to do about 55% damage. Roar makes sure that Charizard leaves, which actually saves Charizard at this point. If he would have let Charizard in, then Poison would have taken care of it. But Landorus comes out, really unlucky, but it doesn't make any difference. And a quick Earthquake makes sure that Vonnicolai loses his last mon. So, at this point, Blissey GSM, otherwise known as Davy, has one game under his belt. Let's see if Vonnicolai can bring it back, or if he's gonna bite the dust at this point. So we're going into the second game. Looking at the team compositions, it seems like they're both running the exact same teams, confident they can either win this game or go down gracefully. So let's get right off. We already went over the teams in the last game, and it's gonna be Heatran versus Klefki. So we see a different lead on the side of Blissey GSM. Thunderwave is nice, I mean it never hurts to Thunderwave anything, but Lava Plume does a lot of damage. Doesn't take out Klefki though, which is interesting. Klefki can live that. Will he switch out? Yeah, he's gonna save Klefki. Heatran is still paralyzed. He gets intimidated, might get for his rocks up this turn. He goes for the Lava Plume straight up. Doesn't get the burn though. I think it's about 30% chance, so he didn't get it 2 times, which is interesting. He's staying in versus this Landorus. That's quite ballsy. So Vonnicolai is predicting him to go for the U-turn. Very well played. And the Lava Plume does put some damage on Charizard, which never hurts. Charizard's going to Mega Evolve and probably go for Dragon Dance right at the bat. It's a signature move for Charizard. Heatran still at 95% damage, goes for his rocks, which would have been nice if he had them up earlier to make sure his Charizard takes about 50% damage. But unfortunately he doesn't have it. He goes for Roar though, so Charizard is gonna take the damage if Starmie can't get them out. So that's really unlucky on Vonnicolai's side. It seems like he's not having his best day considering all the switches he got. He's switching out Blissey into Blissey versus Starmie. Starmie doesn't go for the rapid spin here, but opts to go for Scald first. Let's see if he's gonna take the rapid spin on the next turn. He is. He gets a really important crit. Not this takes 4% damage, which is nothing. Gets a toxic off, but Starmie will just get it natural cured if he switches out. So it's a bit of a stalemate here. Blissey gets also poisoned with a toxic on Starmie's side, which does the same thing. Natural Cure is going to take care of that, no problem. Seismic Toss does 30% damage, which is actually quite a lot considering that Blissey isn't that offensive of a mon. Starmie has to switch out here at closely 60% damage. Crawdad comes in, which is quite interesting. Takes the Seismic Toss damage, which does about the same amount of damage as before, about 37. Blissey switches out. Do we see a Sword Dance or a Dragon Dance on Crawdad's side? I think we saw Sword Dance last time. We did. Venusaur comes in again though, so I'm not really sure why set up if you know that there's a counter coming in. Earlier switch would have been nice. Klefki is a good switch in though. Let's see if Venusaur packs the Hidden Power Fire. Giga Drain does about 19% damage, so another one should take care of Klefki though. So he gets one hit off with Thunder Wave or something like that. Heatran switches in and Thunder Wave comes out. He's already paralyzed, so that's also a wasted turn on the side of Blissey GSM. Heatran is in, is probably going for the Fire type attack. We see a last ditch effort of Klefki going for spikes, and Heatran actually opts to go for rocks, giving this Klefki one more turn for another layer of spikes, while Heatran takes it out with Lava Plume. So GSM loses his first Pokemon here. Vonnicolai still has all of them, but there are quite some hazards up on the field, so it's interesting. Starmie comes out, probably opting to go for Scald or Rapid Spin. I would personally go for Rapid Spin here, but I think Blissey would go for, he's still doing the same thing. That's pretty cool. Shows that even I make a good play sometimes, huh? Starmie goes for the Toxic, which is gonna put his Latios on a timer, and Defox makes sure that everything is reset again. which shows that this rapid spinning turn earlier didn't do that much for him. He would have lost the assets anyway. Recover before switching out. Let's see what Latios is going to go for. Draco Meteor taking this Starmie clean out from full, which is quite surprising. I didn't expect that to happen, but it did. So there's no more spinner on the side of Blissey. Having the Charizard is actually something to be really wary of. Let's see, he brings in Latios, so it's a close mirror matchup for a second before Vonnicolai actually switches in his Clefable. Psyshock does about 72% to Clefable, not considering the leftovers, but another one would take it out. So Vonnicolai actually has to sacrifice his Clefable at this point, and Latios gets his first kill. It's a 1 down on each side. Heatran comes in, being paralyzed though, it's pretty slow. It can take at least one Psyshock. The next one is going to be a little bit of a roll. If he gets a high roll, it will take him out, but the rocks are back up and here to stay. Unless he goes for default himself, of course, but I doubt that he will. He goes for Roar, taking another Psyshock, doing same amount of damage, so Heatran is living at 2% and Charizard comes out. Takes a lot of damage, but being Mega Evolved means that Charizard is going to take less damage than before. Gets the roost off and is in. Dragon Claw takes care of Heatran, no matter how resistant it is. And Vonnicolai is down to 4 mons and is staring down this Charizard. Latios comes in, which is dragging out this Charizard. He is risking the Stealth Rocks another turn. Landorus comes in at 36% damage after rocks, and Draco will take care of it. So there's actually going to be another death, or another knockout I should say. Pokemon never die, guys, you know this, they only get knocked out. Let's see what Blissey wants to go for. He brings in his own Latios, considering that the other one is at a half special attack, and Latios can go for Psyshock, hitting this Blissey for a nice amount of damage. It's a 54%, so no matter what, the Blissey won't be able to take another one as it is. It might go for Protect here. Let's see if Blissey gets that prediction right. It doesn't. He goes for Roost but get poisoned at the same time. It doesn't seem like this game will be very long though, so it might not come that much into play. He's getting another Protect this turn though, making sure that Latios takes at least one more turn of poison damage and getting his lefties back up. Now if he gets a low roll on the Psyshock, Blissey might live it, but he doesn't, so goodbye Blissey, thanks for playing. Both teams are down to 1, 2, 3 mons, which means that it's really a punch for punch battle. It's really interesting to see both players going at it. Looking at team compositions though, I think Venusaur is going to be a big problem to Blissey GSM. He brings in Crawdon for a next time, get knocked off, losing his life orb, which doesn't really hurt him that much considering that he's already this low. He's gonna expect this Venusaur to come in here. Let's see how he reacts. Does he still go for the Sword Dance? No, he goes for straight Aqua Jet for damage, which means that Venusaur has a pretty safe switch in. Crab Hammer does crit, but does not do enough damage to scare out this Venusaur. Sludge Bomb makes sure this Crawdon goes down, and Blissey GSM has only 2 mons remaining. One of them being Charizard, which is always very scary, especially late game. Let's see if he can get something out of Charizard, going for the Dragon Dance right off the bat. And Venusaur goes for Sludge Bomb. Does he get the poison? He doesn't. So Charizard lives another day, goes for Dragon Claw, takes care of Venusaur. Imagine if you had Crawdon left here, it would be really nice. But apparently that's not the case. Landorus comes in, goes for something, yet we cannot see it yet. Landorus goes for knockoff, taking care of Charizard while taking about 64% damage from Dragon Claw, which does show the power of Charizard. It's really scary. If you have some mons really low, then Charizard can actually sweep a team without too much trying. I'm seeing Latios on the side of Blissey going for the Psyshock. Cannot get his special attack lowered because else the enemy Latios will take care of it. Now they're both really low, about 50% on the side of Vonnicolai. It's going to be a speed tie. He gets a crit off, which I don't think mattered, but Blissey GSM is going to take this game really close. He actually would have gone down if he had something to survive a turn to Toxic, but apparently it's not the case. Vonnicolai really fought well. It was a really punch for punch game. It was really nice. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm pretty hype about this, but this does mean that Vonnicolai is just gonna miss out on a 3rd place, and Blissey GSM, otherwise known as Davy, is gonna take a 3rd place. Congratulations, Davy. Well played. I really enjoyed the game, and I hope you guys did too. Stay tuned for the finals though. It's going to be really interesting. You're going to see the finals between Oliver and Dimitri in the next video. So stay tuned and see you guys then.